Hello there, this is DJ Gallup of Courageous Consciousness, and you might well be wondering, and rightfully so, DJ, you may be saying to yourself, why is there a teddy bear laying down right in front of you? And the reason for it is that in this video, I am going to be teaching you guys how to send distance energy work to a loved one, someone who maybe is experiencing pain, maybe someone who's recently gone through a loss, maybe someone who just needs a little bit of an influx of energy in their lives. And this is a technique that I picked up during my Reiki training. I am both a Reiki Holy Fire master, and I'm also a healing touch practitioner. And I love energy work. If you've never received energy work, or if you've never given energy work, it is such a beautiful way of having a newfound sense of balance in your life. When you get a Reiki session, particularly, you go in and you may be feeling like you're having kind of a rough day. And usually by the end of a good Reiki session, you'll feel completely renewed, rejuvenated, rebalanced, and a whole bunch of other good things as well. You may feel like your entire energy field has been completely cleared. But it's really easy to give energy healing to someone who's present with you, because of course you can actually touch them and work on the areas that they need the energy work done. But the challenge is really, how do you do it when your loved one is away, whether they're a city away, a state away, or even on the other side of the world? So here is my method. And what I use is this trusty old teddy bear. This is one of my favorite teddy bears. I'm going to kiss it because I love it. Anyway, this is a teddy bear that my husband Rashawn gave to me some years ago, just before he was getting ready to go work in the Congo for the first time with Doctors Without Borders. And originally, this teddy bear, I think he maybe did it at Build-A-Bear or something like that. But originally, it had a little electronic thing on the inside, so that when you squeezed the bear, it had a recording of my husband's voice, and it said, "I love you, DJ. I miss you, DJ." It was really cute. It was really, really sweet. But anyway, after a few years of me squeezing it all the time, it just stopped working, and so eventually I pulled out that little voice unit. But I still decided that this little bear, who I don't have a name for, I should come up with a name for Reiki bear, I guess. Anyway, this bear I have used to give distance Reiki sessions ever since. So if you want to give distance Reiki, I suggest just finding yourself a nice little teddy bear, something cute like this little guy here. And so this guy, because he had the little voice thing in his back originally, he has a nice little opening here in his back. And so before you give an energy session, there's a couple of things that I do to kind of get my bear a little bit ready. And so first of all, I am going to grab a little sheet of scrap paper. This is actually just an old Walmart receipt here, I think. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write down the name of the person who I am intending to work on today. So I kind of thought for today, my husband Rashawn currently is once again working in the Congo. He's there for a 9-month stint working in a city called Baraka, Congo. And I thought that I might just send him a little loving energy today. So I'm going to just write down his name. And I'm going to write down his location, so you can do that as well. So, simple as that, Rashawn Pereira, Baraka, Congo. And I'm just going to fold it up a little bit more here. And I'm just going to shove it right here in the back of the bear. So if you have a teddy bear laying around your house that you're not particularly afraid of cutting open its back a little bit, doing a little bear surgery, you can just put the name in there. And then the other thing that I usually do before I get started doing a distance Reiki session is I will pull out a crystal. And usually I like to use a quartz, but you can use any crystal that works well for you. Or, of course, every crystal has kind of a different purpose, medicinally for what it does. But when in doubt, you can just always use quartzes. So here on my right hand, I just have a nice regular piece of, kind of a clear quartz. And then here on my left hand, I have this very nice egg-shaped golden quartz. This one is said to be a little bit better for healing. It doesn't really matter. Today, I think I'm just going to use this little one here. And if you're going to put a crystal in the back of your teddy bear, which is exactly what I recommend, I would just tell you to clean it beforehand. You could do that in a variety of ways. You can just run it underwater. You can place it in, like a jug full of salt, of sea salt. That works. You can also put it out underneath a full moon. So, but just make sure it's nice and clear first. I always keep mine right in a bowl right on my front windowsill here. So I always think it's nice and clean. And I'm just going to put it right inside my little lovely teddy bear. And now that my Mr. Bear is ready, I'm going to flip him over. And I'm going to put him in bed position. And what I usually like to do at this point is I like to make it just like a meditation, essentially. It really, when you get a Reiki session or a healing touch session, of course, what the practitioner is doing, what the person giving you Reiki is doing is they're not necessarily healing you themselves. They are just channeling this kind of energy through their bodies in a very focused way into their client's body or into their patient's body. And the belief is that the energy will go precisely where it's needed. So you can work specifically where your loved one's trouble spot is. So, let's say, for instance, let's say I'm working on my mother as an example. My mother has terrible knees. Her knees are shot, and she's in pain pretty much constantly because of her knees. So, of course, when you do start working on your Reiki bear, if you choose to, you could just do something as simple as working on the knees. That's fine. But I think in general, it doesn't really matter where you're giving the energy to, as long as you're doing it with the intent of providing the healing energy in the body to where it needs to go. So anyway, what I'm going to do here in this case, because my main goal today is not so much to give particular healing to a part of the body, but I'm really just kind of wanting to send general energy to Rashawn, because his work is very, very intense, and he's managing hundreds of people in this big hospital. And every time I get to be on the phone with him, which is on Sundays, I can just tell that he is fully exhausted. So my goal here is just to send some nice, loving energy to him today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the bear's head up toward my abdomen. And I just like to pretend that I'm doing this as though I was giving a Reiki session to someone in person. So usually when I'm doing that, I would have someone laying on a massage table, and I'd be sitting on a stool right at the head of the table. And what I do is just start by placing my hands on the shoulders. And the point of this, when you start at the shoulders, is you are looking to just really create a connection between you and the person you're working on. So, starting on the shoulders is just a really nice way of doing it. Yeah, and I'm starting to feel a nice flow of energy coming out through my hands. It's funny, sometimes the flow of energy in your hands, it's a little different every day. When you do energy work, some days you'll feel like a huge amount of energy rushing out through your hands into your client, and sometimes you'll feel only a little trickle, and today it actually feels like it's quite a lot. My hands are getting really, really warm already. Hmm. So it's good when you start doing distance energy work to remember a couple of things. And one of those two things is that you really want to set a strong intention for yourself when you're doing energy work. So, whatever your intention may be, just make sure that you're always kind of keeping that in your mind's eye as you're doing your work. So, like I said, in my case, my intention today with doing Reiki for Rashawn is to just send healing, loving energies and to help him have more energy so he can do his work more effectively and efficiently and with more love. And you generally want to try and remember that intention throughout. And the second thing you want to remember when you're doing energy work, whether you're doing it in person or whether you're doing it distance like I am, is you want to remember that your job is to be a living presence for the other person. So essentially what I'm saying is you want to be very mindful. You want to be as present as possible for your person. So if you find that your thoughts are trailing off and going to some other place, as much as possible, just try and bring yourself back to what you're doing and bring yourself back to your intention. And I'm starting to feel a sense of completion at the shoulders. And when you first start doing energy work, this may seem like something that's a little bit unnatural, but after you do energy work for a while, you'll start feeling that when you're done in an area, you'll feel a real sense of completion, like you're ready to move on. Sometimes your hands will even kind of move on without your conscious thought. They'll just naturally move on to a part of the body where they need to go. So I'm going to move my hands up, and I'm going to actually go right underneath the back of the head here, my little teddy bear. And once again, I'm just imagining that Rashawn is on my massage table, and then I'm just gently, lovingly cradling his head, sending some beautiful energy out through my hands into his head and into all of the muscles of his head and his neck and his face. And sending those deeper, loving energies even deeper into his brain, into his pituitary gland, into his pineal gland, into his hypothalamus. And generally you'll keep each hand position for, up to a couple of minutes. But you could stay there as long as you need. Good, and I'm already starting to feel a sense of completion there. And what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to do one hand on the bottom of the head, one on the top of the head. And this is just to channel energy completely through the brain. And once again, I'm returning to my intention. It's a good constant reminder. Just always go back to your intention. Good. I'm feeling a sense of completion there already. Now I'm going to turn my bear lengthwise. I have him here on a stack of books. So anyway, I'm just going to just move down, and I'm just going to move down to his heart. You can either use one hand or two hands if you want. You can actually put one hand on the underside if you like. And now keep in mind, this location, at least on my bear, is where my quartz crystal is located too. So in this hand position, I'm also, not only am I sending love and Reiki energy into Rashawn's heart and into his lungs and his shoulders and his hands and his arms and everything related to the heart chakra, but I'm also intending to kind of charge up that quartz crystal, if you will. That's one really beautiful thing about using quartzes and a lot of other crystals, is that you can really charge them up with the energy you desire, and in that way they kind of become like a battery, and that way the healing energy you're sending to them will actually last for quite a good long time after you're done doing the actual session. So right now I'm just sending beautiful, loving, healing energy into Rashawn's heart and into his lungs, his shoulders, his arms, his hands. And I'm also setting an intention to charge up that nice quartz crystal so that it emanates a beautiful healing energy to him for as long as is necessary. Good. I'm feeling a sense of completion now. I'm going to move along, and I'm not going to be doing an entire session today with you guys because that would be a little while. But, once again, since I'm just doing this to give energy, I usually like to end my Reiki sessions or my energy work sessions down at the feet. You start at the shoulders, I always get the head, and I always end with the feet. So I'm going to turn my pretty little bear around in this direction, and I'm just going to gently hold the feet and send energy all the way up through the body. And if you choose, it really goes by how you like it, but if you like, you can, of course, just do one foot at a time, or you can hold both feet at the same time. It doesn't really matter to me. It's whatever feels better to you. Right now I'm envisioning that the light coming out of my hands is working its way up the feet, up the legs, up through the knees, up through the pelvis, up through the abdomen, up through the chest and the back. I'm seeing that light go down to the shoulders, the arms, the elbows, the wrists, the hands, and going up to the throat and the head and the brain, so that every single cell in Rashawn's body is full of light and life and love and energy. Good. I'm starting to feel like we're getting some good completion here. So as you can see, this process doesn't have to take too long. I mean, in reality, you could probably actually do an entire energy work session on someone, or at least a brief energy work session on someone, you know, just 5 or 10 minutes if you like. It doesn't have to take your whole day or anything like that. And what I'm going to do at this point, just to kind of end things, is I'm going to put my hands on the ankles, or you can go back to the shoulders if you like. That's totally fine, one way or the other. And in general, a really good way to end an energy session is to ground your client's energy into the floor. So you're grounding the energy, grounding their energy, you know, through your hands. It's going to go through your shoulders and down through your feet, and really ground them nicely. So I'm going to do that for a moment. Energy work can actually be very, very powerful to get as the recipient if you've never had it done. So the grounding is a really important technique, because otherwise, if you get energy work and you don't get grounding at the end, your person may end up feeling kind of loopy. Good. And I'm feeling like Rashawn's grounded now. And the last thing I like to do is I like to do a nice little release. And usually what I say, I just usually say it in my head, but of course I'll say it out loud for you guys today, is at this moment I am releasing from Rashawn's energy, and I would like to release him to his highest and greatest good. So you can say it in any way you like, but I'm releasing from my loved one's energy, and I am releasing them to their highest and greatest good. And generally you'll kind of feel a sense of release, and I'm feeling that sense of release now. And what I do is I just gently pull my hands away, and I just kind of shake off my hands a little bit. And now I have a very happy, healthy Reiki bear here, with the intention of sending lovely healing energy to my husband Rashawn in Baraka, Congo. But you can use this to send energy to anyone you love, anyone you know. Generally, it works better if the person knows that they're going to be receiving it. However, you don't have to tell them. Of course, we're all going to have people in our lives who maybe aren't quite as open to energy work as we might hope they would be. But, certainly if they're comfortable with it, you can let them know you're doing it. You can even send a picture of the bear, or even make them a video, just like I'm doing, which I think is really nice for them to do. And usually I'll also tell the person I'm doing the energy work for that this energy will be here for them for as long as they need, because I charged up that crystal. So at any point, if they choose to, they could just lay down in a nice comfortable spot, and they can receive this nice healing energy at any time they like. And I think right before bed is an especially powerful time. So Anyway, I'll leave it there for you guys today. I hope that you will have some fun doing some energy work for people. It is such a lovely thing to do. It makes you feel good. It makes them feel good. And not to mention, it's fun playing with a little teddy bear. I love my little teddy bear. So with that all being said, me and my little teddy, we're saying goodbye for now. Have a good one.